In today's episode, we're going to be reacting to some of the craziest things I found on TikTok. Let's get into it.
In the past 20 minutes, I think we've seen about 15 of these drones. In fact, there's one right over my shoulder, right there.
I got reports that there were drones actively happening in Monmouth County. So I raced up to Monmouth County and pulled off near Red Bank. And sure enough, I looked up in the sky in the town and saw one. So I followed it to a residential area and got out of my car, took out my iPhone and started filming it.
I can't believe I'm seeing this.
And it was about 150 feet overhead. At that point I said, look, my iPhone's not capturing this. I called my photographer, who was about half an hour behind. I said, get up here with your camera right now. He came and met me, and for the next 2 hours, we traveled to various spots around Monmouth County. And I believe we saw
Can you see it?
over 50 of these drones. And I gotta say, if this is not the military, it's even more terrifying. These things they look like they're fixed wing, and they have multiple lights. There's a red light, on some of them there's a green light, then there's easily 3 white blinking lights. They go at the usual cadence. We tried to chase one, and it rapidly sped off. I'm not really sure how to process what we all saw last night. Both Nick and I my cameraman, were kind of stunned by the whole experience, and we will have the full report tonight on Elizabeth Vargas Live.
TikTok is flooded with these UFO, UAP drones everywhere over New Jersey, and it seems to be maybe even going to other states now. It's pretty crazy stuff. To me, they look very human-like. I don't think that they're extraterrestrial. I kind of have a feeling that they are US government type of technology. Let me know though, anyone in New Jersey seen these firsthand?
Look at this Look at him spraying. Look at that. Look at that. He is spraying the sky again.
Like there's
Bro,
a beam of light,
crazy,
or is
man.
that a chemtrail? That might just be a
Look at this
regular
guy.
plane.
They're spraying the skies.
There's something seriously wrong with Michelangelo's statue of David, or I guess technically there's something right with it. And I'm not talking about the heart-shaped pupil Mandela effect, because I see a lot of people talking about that, and frankly, I don't care enough about this statue to know one way or the other. But when the hell did this guy get 2 arms? He has 2 arms now. He never had 2 arms. He had a broken off arm. Am I the only one that remembers that? I can't be alone on this. Like, I saw one other video with 0 comments of a woman who distinctly remembers that the statue of David had a broken arm. And I remember as a kid learning about the tragedy that is this broken arm, and how perfect this statue is, and how it was just devastating that there was some accident and the arm broke off. And it did break off. But in the 1500s, and then they fixed it right away. I don't know where this thing came from. Why does he have an arm? Is this a Mandela effect? Am I losing it? If there's any movies where it broke off, I'll take that. I'll take it. If you have any normal explanations for why the statue of David now has 2 arms, please enlighten me.
As far as I can remember, the statue of David's always had 2 arms. Now, I do know that there is a statue out there where it is only 1 arm, but I don't know the history of it, but I've always remembered the statue of David having 2 arms. Let me know in the comments. Has it changed for you, or has it always been 2 arms?
So it looks like a parachute jumper got some pretty good footage of these drones over New Jersey.
It's crazy.
Full disclosure, I'm a commercial pilot, and this is unlike any aircraft I've ever seen.
It is very weird
That's
looking. It
not
looks like
certainly
something from
not.
Star Wars.
Can you tell me what the Pentagon is doing to address this issue of drone sightings over New Jersey? It's near sensitive installations. The FBI is involved. What is the Pentagon doing?
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
I mean, if they're saying that it's not the U.S. military and that it's not some kind of foreign entity, then what is it? Obviously, if the military and or government's not doing anything about it, then it's probably them, right?
Bro, are you good?
The dog's nervous.
No one warned you I was coming over, did they? Hey, buddy. It's okay. Yoda, why are you shivering so much? Okay.
It was like that dog seen a ghost.
A lot of the elites had their summer homes in Jekyll Island, including the Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, the Morgans.
This reminds me, if I can, talk about the place we got married.
Yeah.
It's like a hidden gem, the place that we got married, the venue called the Sidoni Mansion. It was built at the turn of the century by a dude who was buddies with all of those guys you just mentioned. And he went on a hunting trip. He was hunting on this land that he ultimately ended up purchasing and building the Sidoni Mansion, which was originally a hunting lodge, but then just turned into their Christmas home. What's so strange about it is that they had this huge wealth, and he also had 5 children, which at the turn of the century, they say if you had that kind of money and that many children at the turn of the century, you would have like hundreds of descendants today. But they have 3 living relatives. All the wealth is mysteriously gone. Every single family member, apart from one daughter, died in that house.
And they only went there for Christmas.
They were only there for Christmas.
There's something hidden there. That's scary.
ChatGPT, where is Wally exactly?
Sure, I'd love to help you find Wally. Could you try focusing on the lower right area of the image? I think you might spot him around there.
I still can't see him. Can you give me more clues?
Sure. Try
Yeah, he
looking
is
near
down
the
there.
bottom right, close to the building with a yellow roof. You're getting closer. He might be near the bottom right area, close to that wooden cabin
that
with
found him
skis leaning
fast.
against it.
Oh, I think I found him.
Great job. You found him.
That was a really quick response time. As soon as that video came up and she asked, I was already looking around. Now, I could not see that far right side of the book, but as soon as the camera panned over there and I seen it, ChatGPT already knew it was there. That was impressive, I'm not gonna lie. It really had its eyes fixated on it quick. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the episode, go ahead and give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. For everyone that's watching and or subscribed, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being subscribed. I would also like to give a special shout out to all of my current active members that you see on the screen now. So to everyone that you see, thank you so much for supporting my channel in that way.
Okay, this is unbelievable. You're looking at Google's new real-time AI. I share my screen and it becomes a 24/7 superhuman tutor. So for example, I ask it conversationally how to make this text wiggle in After Effects, and it breaks it down step by step. I'll play the video in a second. But you could use this to learn code. People are using it for advice and strategy games. I'll break this all down in my newsletter this weekend, but let me show you the screen recording so you can see how big of a deal this is.
Okay, it looks like you have Adobe After Effects open.
Yep.
And you want to make the hello text wiggle.
Correct.
To do that, you would apply the wiggle expression to the text position property.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me how to do that.
Okay, no problem. The first step is to select the text layer with the word hello in the layers panel. It's the layer labeled hello in the composition.
Okay, got it.
Okay, step 2 is to expand the properties of the selected layer by clicking the small arrow next to the layer name, then expand the transform properties.
Got it.
Now in step 3, you need to find the position property. It should be the second one under the transform properties. Okay, the fourth step is to hold down the Alt key or Option key on a Mac and click the stopwatch icon next to the position property. This will open an expression box below the position property.
Got it.
Now for step 5, type the word wiggle into the expression box, followed by a set of parentheses like this. Inside the parentheses, add 2 numbers separated by a comma. The first number controls how many times the text wiggles per second, and the second number controls how far it wiggles.
Look, I'm a graduate of YouTube University. This is an evolution of that. This is a breakthrough for education.
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually pretty impressive, and it's only a matter of time that it's just going to be able to do it for you. Eventually, you're just gonna be able to say, hey, edit this video in the way I need you to edit, exactly how I need you to edit, and it's going to be able to do it for you. Or other tasks that you have to do. That's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, because there's people out there that make a living editing people's videos or giving them that information. Like, that's paid for knowledge, basically. If you are not familiar with how to upload to YouTube or how to edit a video, if you have something like this that can walk you through it, tell you how to do it, you don't need nobody else to tell you how to do it at that point. I think a lot of people are going to start using this for sure. Wow. That's pretty neat.
Does anyone else feel like time is getting faster? Seriously, every day, week, month is just flying by lately, and something just doesn't feel normal about it. And trust me, you're not the only one. Everyone feels it. Well, as it turns out, the universe might be dying. Or it already ended, and the Mayans were right this entire time. Like, didn't the 2020s just start, and we're already halfway through the decade? You've probably seen this years of your life chart that explains why time feels to get faster as we age, showing you how each year that goes by becomes a smaller and smaller percentage of your total life lived so far, which is why the years feel like they go by quicker as we get older. But I'm not talking about that. I mean, objective time itself by the hour seems like it's faster than it used to be. It could be the 2020 effect, from which many people report that days, weeks, and months since 2020 seem like they're passing by at an alarming rate. Psychologists coined the term and proposed that the 2020 lockdowns caused a major disruption in our normal routines, making every day feel the same, distorting our sense of time. During the lockdowns, time sort of stood still. We basically did nothing for a whole year, and then we're still heavily restricted for another year after that. When we do the same thing every day in confined environments, we lose our sense of time. But then, as things return to normal and social interactions, vacations, work, the regular flow of life came back, comparing this active lifestyle to the past 2 years of doing nothing, life started to feel as if it was moving at lightning speed, and time sped up with it. But no, this is different. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I'm talking about. Everyone feels it. It has to be something more than that. What if the world, the entire universe actually, is ending? There are many scientifically backed theories that propose how the universe may end, one of which is called the Big Crunch. It's sort of just the opposite of the Big Bang, which was a huge explosion that created the entire universe. All matter, galaxies, black holes, stars, and planets that we have today. Scientists have observed that the universe itself is actually continually expanding out in every direction faster than the speed of light ever since. This is because of dark energy, the dominant force that causes this expansion, and we don't exactly know how it works. The Big Crunch hypothesizes that this expansion will eventually lose its momentum, slow down, and possibly even stop. If this happens, the force of gravity of all the objects inside this enormous universe would take over dark energy as the dominant force in play. And what does gravity do? Brings everything back to the center. All objects in the universe would slowly collide inwards towards each other, bringing the edge of the universe itself in with them. The entire universe gets smaller and denser, which makes it really hot and eventually collapses back to its singular point of infinite density that was the start of the Big Bang, which may even trigger a new Big Bang, and the universe would start all over again in an infinite cycle of big bangs and big crunches that goes on forever. And we're just currently living in one of those cycles. Now, the theory here is, since space and time are directly related, as per Einstein, when the fabric of space gets smaller, so does time. Imagine the entire timeline of the universe as a spring, and passing down the spring is us passing through time. As space collapses, that timeline spring, in theory, condenses as well, making the journey of passing down the spring shorter and quicker. So whereas before, getting from, say, day 1 to day 2 on the timeline of the universe took 1 unit of perceived time, now experiencing that same segment of time from day 1 to 2 only takes 0.9 units of perceived time, resulting in the same segment of time feeling like it goes by quicker. Do you follow me here? Just like in video editing, when you bring a clip into your timeline and increase the speed by 10%, it gets shorter. So now, what if the Big Crunch has already started, and we're experiencing that slight bit of condensed time as the universe is slowly starting to shrink? Because, I mean, it would be slow at first. Time's not going to start accelerating significantly until the universe is much smaller in a couple 100 million years or whatever, where years will potentially go by in a matter of hours. What if we're in that initial stage of time shrinkage, where the length of a year feels just a little faster than what a year used to feel like? Because a year was actually supposed to end it all just a little over a decade ago, 2012. For anyone that remembers, there was a huge doomsday prophecy going around in the years leading up to 2012 based on the Mayan calendar. Now, the Mayans, they were pretty damn smart. Their empire lasted for around 3,000 years, possibly longer, until they collapsed around 900 AD. The Maya were well known for their advanced knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, and time. They developed some of the most intricate timekeeping methods that we know as the Mayan calendar. Well, calendars, actually. The Mayans had around 20 calendars, a lot of which we don't even fully understand yet. But one of their most important ones was the long count calendar, which is different from any other ancient culture's calendar in the world. Rather than basing it off the solar cycles of us going around the sun, they broke it down into a series of day-night cycles since the last creation. The largest of these cycles was a Baktun, which was around 394 years. And 13 Baktuns would make a complete age, where everything would reset back to zero. They believed they were living in the fourth age, which started in August 3114 BC. 13 Baktuns after that gives us December 21st, 2012, the end of that age, which many people thought would mark the end of the world. But what if, through some divine knowledge of the Mayans, that just marked the end of the universe expanding? And it's been collapsing ever since, as per the Big Crunch, slowly but surely speeding time up with it. Because a lot of people claim things haven't really been the same since 2012, almost like we switched timelines. Coincidentally, in that exact same year, scientists in Switzerland apparently opened a black hole using the Large Hadron Collider, aka the Big Bang Machine, where particles are accelerated close to the speed of light in a 27-kilometer loop and smashed into each other, working on experiments meant to recreate the very first moments of the universe. CERN, the organization leading the research, discovered a new particle known as the Higgs boson, aka the God particle, in 2012. The Higgs boson is a special type of particle that we can't exactly interact with, but permeates the entire fabric of space and basically allows matter to exist. It's complicated, I know, which many scientists actually warned the creation of this particle may form a black hole that would consume the Earth and our entire solar system in a split second. Well, it actually might have already done that, and reality as we knew it ended in 2012. It happened so fast that none of us could notice, and we're currently living inside that black hole and are experiencing the time dilation effects of its immense gravity, or we just switched to a completely different timeline. Because if you look at it, that's also around the same time that people started having collective memories about things that never happened, known as the Mandela effect. You know, when a large group of people recall something being different than what it really was. Popular ones like the Berenstain Bears, Jif Peanut Butter, the Monopoly Man never had a monocle, the cornucopia in Fruit of the Loom, which I swear I can remember that one. We Are the Champions doesn't end with of the world. Remember the Energizer Bunny that strolled around beating his drum? He had a battery on his back, right? Nope. It is and always has been on his leg. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. The reason we have Mandela effects in the first place is because we're living in this alternate timeline where time's speeding up. And we occasionally get faint memories from our old timeline, which we all experience together. At the end of the day, we could just be getting older and perceiving every year that goes by as slightly quicker than the last. But I don't know, something just really feels off to me. Like the passing of time itself just got accelerated by magnitudes of what it used to be. These days are flying by at lightning speed, and I can't help but feel that maybe reality as we knew it will never be the same.
Now, the first thing I want to address is that Energizer Bunny used to have a battery on his back. I remember, because I remember seeing those commercials as a kid and thinking, man, he's got a big battery on his back. And as far as time getting faster, it does seem like time has sped up pretty rapidly. But even when I was a kid, my grandfather always said, you know, once you reach a certain point in your life, time just goes by quick. So I think that it just always works that way. And it also does not really help that we are conditioned to work under time. If we did not have to work under time and we didn't have to worry about hours, minutes, and seconds of the day, and we just actually lived our lives freely and not worrying about time, time may not fly by as fast. But I will have to say, I do like the theory about the Mayan calendar. Doomsday was supposed to be in 2012, but maybe that was not necessarily doomsday. Maybe that's just when the galaxy or the world just basically starts imploding on itself. That was a pretty interesting theory.
What is this? That's in our galaxy, only 700 light years from Earth. This is called R Aquarii because it's in the constellation Aquarius, and in the center is a star that's 400 times bigger than the sun, but it changes in size, brightness, and temperature. We can watch this. We have a time lapse of this. In the span of 390 days, it can get 750 times brighter, which makes it 5,000 times brighter than the sun. But it also has a companion. Orbiting the star is a white dwarf, which is a star that has died, and now it's just the core, and it's shed all of its outer layers. So basically, when this white dwarf gets close to its star, it pulls some material off of it and creates a disk of material around it. But then that gets too much, and it explodes off of it in these powerful jets. And these plasma jets are what creates these giant loops. And this is so much bigger than it looks. Like, if this was the sun, where do you think Earth would be? Wrong. These streams reach 400 billion kilometers, which is 2,500 times the distance between the sun and the Earth. And these explosions create heavy elements, which is really cool because we get to watch how the universe creates elements.
And a baby elephant is spreading holiday cheer at the Houston Zoo. Kirby is a 4-week-old Asian elephant, and zoo officials say she's spending her time bonding with mom and the rest of the herd. If you want to see what Kirby's up to, you can join the Kirby crew online and follow her progress on the Houston Zoo's
join the Kirby crew.
platform.
People are freaking out after realizing how old their apples are and that they could be unaliving you. Apples, I'm pretty certain you're not growing them all in your garden, so you have to buy them from somewhere, right? Of course you might buy them from fresh produce sometimes, but most of the time you're going to be buying them in the supermarket and they look all shiny and everything like that. For some reason, most people have been thinking that apples are like a few days old once they're in the supermarket, and are now horrified finding out the truth. Apples in the supermarket, when you're walking down and picking one up, are normally over a year old. Like, they just been sat there, rotting. Probably asking how come they don't rot, because like the average lifespan is about 5 to 7 days. Normally they're just put in some ultra storage that keeps them fresh, but normally they're also coated in a special type of wax, which doesn't sound pleasant. Essentially it keeps them fresh and looking shiny, so you think brand new gunk. People have been testing this out on social media recently and like skinning the top of them and getting the wax. Of course, the wax is not good for you, so eating them actually isn't as good as you think it is. But let me know if you knew this, and I'll see you in the next one.
Now, I don't know where they've got that information where apples have been stored for a year, but apples in general, if you leave them on a tree, they last for a good few weeks until picked. Now, as soon as they fall off the tree, it does not take long for them to spoil at all. But there is a benefit of not having all that wax either. Let me know in the comments, have you heard about this? Because this is the first I've heard that they've stored apples for a year. It does not surprise me that they store them for a while though, because apples do last if you preserve them right.
A tech startup will soon brick its $800 emotional support robot for kids without any refunds. And I'm trying so hard not to laugh at this, but this is the most dark humor story I've seen in forever. The product that we're talking about is Moxie. It's a sort of AI or machine learning powered emotional support robot for children. It's animated, it has a face, it talks to you, it looks realistic. We'll go ahead and play some of the trailer for it when I describe what is going on. And specifically, this very expensive robot was designed as an emotional support robot for children. Children that had anxiety, children that had maybe social issues, children that needed extra help or supervision. It's just like a very advanced teddy bear. And it will literally talk to you, and it's very animate, and it does quite a lot of interesting things. Of course, it hooks up through an app. It keeps everything, keeps track of the kid's schedule, encourages good habits, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
But it's going out of business after having been on the market for 3 or 4 years. They said they had secured a lead investor who was prepared to close the round. However, at the last minute, the investor withdrew, leaving us with no viable options to continue operations. Despite our best efforts to get alternative funding, we were unable to find a replacement in time to sustain operations. And they first released this robot in April 2020, saying it is a safe and engaging animate companion for children designed to help promote social, emotional, and cognitive development. Built around the best practices in child development and early childhood education. It teaches the kids things like empathy, friendship, respect, etc., etc. But soon, none of these features on the robot will be available. The robot won't even talk, it won't even move, it won't even communicate. It will be a very big and expensive brick. And the darkest, the worst part of this is, again, this is for kids that had like social anxiety or mental health problems that needed a support robot. And the ridiculous thing here is that it's just another smart gadget that bites the dust. But there's so many kids that grew up with their tech companion,
right?
And it's suddenly going to be taken away.
Man, that is really crazy. First of all, $800 for a robot like that is very expensive for what its purpose is. Honestly, I do not think that you need to have a robot like that connected to the internet to help support your child. Do I think it's a bad device? Not at all. I think that it could actually be functional for your child. It can probably help them with math and other forms of education in a fun way. I think that that is probably a great device for that. $800 is still a little expensive, but to have a device that you pay $800 for, it must be required to be connected to the internet at all times, which is really scary because who knows who's able to watch what's going on through the robot. And also for situations like this, if it was just very advanced software that was only limited to certain things, did not require internet, it'd be a perfect little device. That way, if the company shut down, at least you have a robot that still works. But it seems like being that the company's shutting down, they're shutting the servers down, now the robot's completely useless.
What type of is this? Elon Musk is now the first public person to exceed a net worth of 400 billion. Well, let me show you something that's even more crazier than that. I found this post. They said it's 80,000 BC. You are immortal. The world is still frozen in an ice age. You decide to save $10,000 every single day, never spending a cent. 82,000 years later, it's 2021. And you still don't have as much money as Elon Musk. How? If this doesn't tell you some type of sorcery, some type of magic, some unfair gameplay is going on here, I don't know what else to say to you. $400 billion. What could you even possibly buy at that point? When people just have so much money to where they can live 83 lifetimes and still be good, you got to start giving some of that.
I mean, there is a little bit of difference between net worth and gross. Nonetheless, he's still grossing a lot of money, but it is crazy that people are even allowed to make that much money. I'm not saying that people should not be able to make money, but when you're starting to get into the billions, that's a lot of money. That's enough money to support a whole country, basically. And I feel like people that have that much money are not really doing what they should be doing with it. Then again though, I don't have that much money. I'll probably never ever even come close in my lifetime to even coming a fraction of a percent that close to having that much money. So I don't know what it's like to have that money and or what capabilities you can even do having that much money. Let me know in the comments though, what would you do if you had a net of $400 billion?
This is over my house right now. What is that?
It's the million-dollar question baffling New Jersey residents looking skyward.
They're just pacing back and forth, going very slow.
Since last month, dozens of drones mysteriously hovering in the skies at night. Near Morris County, the FAA has now ordered 2 temporary flight restrictions prohibiting drones over this military base and Trump National Golf Club after receiving reports of unexplained activity. Today, Homeland Security and state police met with some New Jersey officials, including Mayor Jim Maley.
I truly don't believe they have any idea where the drones are coming from.
Many still have questions, including Congressman Jeff Van Drew, who says individuals with high security clearance have a theory about where the drones come from.
Their concern is that a mothership has left from Iran weeks ago, coinciding about the time somewhere along the area of the United States. It doesn't mean they're right off the coast.
But in a briefing today, Pentagon officials dismissed the claim outright.
We have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary.
In Mendham, New Jersey, Olivia DiMattio's coffee shop is right near the sensitive locations where the drones have been spotted.
How big are these things? You know, are they different sizes?
They are the size of small cars.
like almost like a Mini Cooper or a Ford Escape size. So it's not something that a kid is buying off of Amazon and flying around as a prank. Like, it's way, way past that.
And we're here in front of Picatinny Arsenal. It provides munitions products for all branches of the U.S. military. It's also one of those sensitive sites that these drones have flown close to. And Nora, both lawmakers we spoke to today say one of these drones needs to be taken down safely so they can get some answers.
I definitely hope we get some answers on this. Actually, one of the reasons why I have not posted a video within the past week is because all of the content online has been about this, and I really just don't want to overplay it because I don't like doing that. I'm already irritated enough that I have to look through all of the videos just to find something decent worth watching, you know? But I am very hopeful that we get some kind of information, something out of this that's not horrifying, that's not a terrorist attack or of the sorts. Maybe it is just rich people playing with their very expensive drones. I really don't know what it could be, but hopefully we get some answers. Let me know in the comments of what you think it could be. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and end today's episode. As always, if you found any of the clips that we watched interesting, links are in the description down below. And with that being said, if it's morning or nighttime, have a good one.